All right, cut the suspenseful music off. But what is good, guys? It's Mr. Impact once again. And, I honestly haven't really had a video explaining where I've been these past 2.5 months. And I honestly feel super bad because after the NorCal trip, I was getting those videos out, but I got so behind in schoolwork and I got so behind in just life after the NorCal trip where I was like, oh my God, I need to put me first. I need to put my education first. I need to put all my priorities first before impact. And I hope all of you guys understand that. And if you know me as a person and you know me every day, you understand all the work that I put through because, I was also locked in on track, missing that week of running. It didn't do me that much harm, but it did at the same time. I was able to manage myself during my races and during training, but at the same time, I could have been way more ahead without that missed week of training, So I had to keep all this together, and I tried working on impact, I tried. But my mental health, I generally got a burnout. I've gotten burnouts before, but this junior year burnout, it was something that everybody talks about is like a nightmare. And this nightmare, it was like an endless cycle. Every day I woke up, I would feel good, and then it would go straight to poop. And then at the same time, I would wake up struggling, dude, I did not want to wake up. But then I'd find a reason, either practice, either hanging out with my friends, hanging out with my family, whatever day it was, working on something. I just had to, look at the positive things of sides. And that's the thing that I struggled with these past 2.5 months, And as you guys know, I'm in a relationship with Mrs. Impact. She's been on the videos. We were having our own struggles for a few, those few months too. So I had to prioritize that. I put all my other priorities in front of impact because what I want to give to you guys is my 100%. And obviously I know that's not true, or I know that's not going to happen. It is true, but it's not going to happen every time. Right now, I feel 100% editing this video and gaining all this content, having projects and stuff being released, working on stuff behind the scenes. I feel great. I feel amazing. I feel 10 times better than I did from March, April, and May. That's just the fact. But during those few months, I was like, damn. It feels like I got hit by a car, hit by a truck. I felt so behind in life and I felt so behind in myself that I forgot that I'm just 17. I'm not going to be a millionaire overnight. I'm not going to be a famous YouTuber overnight. I'm not going to be Mr. Impact just overnight. This has to be consistent. And that's the fear that took me upon those few months is I felt like I wasn't doing enough that was being held to my own standards. And with those standards not being met, ultimately by myself, I was merely disappointed in myself and what I was expecting out of myself, because what I was putting out, I was like, this isn't my best work. Absolutely not. This maybe even half, maybe not even half of my best work. And I look at when I doom scroll and stuff, it's all this motivational content and content that'll help me. I'm putting knowledge into my brain and I'm writing stuff down and stuff, but I'm not putting it out yet. And it just sits in my head what are you doing? Carlos, why am I just laying here doing absolutely nothing when there's somebody my age or even younger getting to their goals way faster than I am, and it's pushing me out of the way? And in my mental health, I felt like it was all my fault. I pushed myself out the way. I got behind in life. I got behind in impact. I got behind in track. I got behind in running. I got behind in my diet. I got behind in everything. I had no one to blame but myself. And I don't want you guys to feel bad for me. I don't want you guys to feel like I'm ungrateful, or I don't want you guys to feel disappointed in me, whether you are or not. I just want you guys to understand, because I didn't even understand myself. And that's what sucks, is I didn't even understand myself during those 2.5 months. That April challenge, that whole thing with the April challenge and releasing all that content is because I wanted to feel something. I wanted to feel a challenge, racing and stuff, going against the best runners and stuff. That's a challenge, but I signed up for that challenge. This April challenge, nobody signed me up for it. I didn't have to do that April challenge. I could have went to shit, for real. You gotta bleep that out. But I could have went to poop. You know, that April challenge, it helped me so much. It helped me find who I was again. Like, it helped me remind myself that, dude, you're Carlos. You're Mr. Impact. Like, I had to find my own identity again in a certain way through that challenge. And I told Mrs. Impact, like, in one of our, like, difficult conversations, that April challenge, like, I did it to show the people that you could do it at any age, whatever challenge you could put yourself to. You know, the April challenge, it wasn't hard, but it was very complex, because if it was one thing that you forgot, you would do it, and then you had to do the other thing. And it was just based off of consistency. You know, if you guys didn't see the April challenge, go watch my reels. They're on there on Impact with Carlitos on Instagram and on TikTok, mostly Instagram though. But that April challenge, I did it merely just to feel something, you know, because all I felt was disappointment. All I felt was being behind. All I felt was a lack of motivation and discipline. And I had a uprising of laziness, and I didn't want that. I don't want you guys to see that. I didn't want to see it myself. You know, I don't want to look in the mirror and be like, dude, this guy is full of laziness for these past few months after I just had a crazy grind, you know? And like, I just had to come on here and remind you guys, like, who I am, and remind you guys who you are to me. You guys are my supporters. You guys like friends, family, other people that you guys might not even ever met me ever. But you guys are like family to me. Like, you guys are supporting this at like 100 subscribers, 10 subscribers, 50 subscribers. Like, when I hit that milestone for 100K views across YouTube, man, that was crazy. Like, you guys aren't just nothing to me. You guys aren't just money. You guys aren't just views. You guys aren't just people that click on the videos and scroll. You guys aren't like that to me. You guys are humans that care about what I do, but hopefully you're using what you see from me into your own life, changing your own perspective and taking stuff into action. And that's what I want to do on Impact. That's what I'm here for. You know, feeding the homeless, those 30 views that I got compared to the 100 views that I got, I don't even care. I went out there and fed the homeless. Maybe not all of them, but I was so proud of myself for doing that. And I'm going to do that again this summer. I'm going to release athletic shirts for the athletes and people that aren't even athletes, but that support athletes this summer. Like, I found my hunger. I found my drive. I found all of that. I found my ambitions. I found my dreams. I found my aspirations once again. My identity is back. It is back 110%, 1,000%. But I just had to remind you guys what had happened and give you a refresher that those 2.5 months aren't going to come back. You know, the rough weeks, the rough days are going to come, the rough nights, you know, they're going to come. But they're not going to be consistent, unlike this grind. And I just want to remind you that we are back for sure this time. Long story short is, I'm back. Thanks for watching. If you watched through the entire video, and if you completely understand, and if you don't completely understand, I understand you. You know, every perspective is a little hard to understand at first, but yeah, if you've been watching since last summer all the way up to now, I support you so much. We made it to over 100 subscribers in like 1 year. I mean, if you ask me, I think that's great, but you know, slow motion is better than no motion. You know, it's legal. It's better. That might just be the outro. Peace out.